Hey yo, this is LJ.
And this is J-Hen. And right now, you're listening to On Wax, the podcast.
And if you haven't already, subscribe on iTunes and you have to leave us a 5-star review.
You can also like us on Facebook and follow the podcast on SoundCloud and Stitcher.
But if you don't, then we're going to have to put your ass on wax.
Wax, wax, wax! And again, keep in mind that me and LJ are like 12.
One, either you made it, or two, you're fucked.
I'm not doing it on Sunday. I'm sorry.
Chapole.
I'm gonna exaggerate the fuck out of this. So
we had one coach who had a permanent hard-on all the time.
Yeah, this shit's kind of annoying though, but yeah. I'm buying your ass a thong.
Who would win right now, you or 55-year-old Jackie Chan?
I'm about to throw the fuck up.
He must have a little dick.
Say it's the biggest fight of the year.
They may be the best team in the NBA.
Fun facts for you about dating.
I think different women like different things.
Not told
you
anybody about this story in my life.
On wax.
Yo, what up? This is J-Hen, and right now you're listening to On Wax, the podcast, episode 44. I got a very special guest in the building today. Hold on. Let me set the stage. And I'm fixing to set the stage like it's never been set before. He's from San Antonio, Texas. From a mortgage loan officer to an MMA UFC fighter. He's currently fighting on the biggest stage under the brightest lights. With an impressive professional record of 9 wins and only 1 loss. That loss, it happened over 5 years ago. He has 4 knockouts, 2 submission, and 3 decision victories. He can literally win any way he chooses. You know what? He's such a badass. Not only did he accept his UFC debut on 1 week's notice, he agreed to the offer before even knowing who his opponent's name was. On March 3rd at UFC 222, he knocked his opponent clean out in 42 seconds with the left hand. Not the right hand, the left hand. He's known to come out of his corner like a house on fire. He's the 13th ranked lightweight in the entire world. Welcome to the big show, Alexander the Great Hernandez.
Damn, pretty good now, man. If I was having a bad day, I'm having a fucking great day now.
Nice.
Yeah, I appreciate that intro.
Of course, man. I'm really excited to have you on. I've been doing so much research about you. I actually watched the pay-per-view on UFC 222. And when it said from San Antonio, Texas, when you were walking to the octagon, it said from San Antonio, Texas, you instantly got a fan. I was so excited to see you fight. And not only that, but the way you knocked the dude out. Listen, I know you've been getting a lot of flack with that fake glove touch. I don't care. I loved it. You don't see that every day. Like I've watched another interview of you. You said you stormed him. Like, you're right. Like, if he's thinking you're going to touch gloves after storming after him, you're batshit crazy. I loved it. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. I appreciate the support, dude. Yeah, definitely a San Antonio advocate, being raised here. So it's always cool to see, the local homegrowns or just the local support. It's a beautiful thing.
Of course, man.
That's where you got to start, so.
We appreciate the opportunity. So jumping right in, I know we're kind of short on time. What's the most satisfying type of victory? You've won by knockout, you've won by submission, you've won by decision. What's the best way to win in Alexander's?
Oh, hands down a knockout. That was definitely the most satisfying victory I've ever had.
Nice. Now, one thing that I listened to an interview on the MMA Hour with Ariel Helwani, and one thing that you said that I felt like it really didn't get noticed. You said that you plan on being bigger than Conor McGregor. Since y'all are in the same division, what are your thoughts on Conor McGregor?
I think he's excellent. Yeah, he's someone I've looked up to and he's inspired me. I think he's a tremendous athlete, but all that being said, he's vulnerable. He has holes, and if there's anyone who's can beat him or has to beat him, it's going to be me. And I've been saying that for a long time. And that's all. all I thought about for years is are those top three guys for over the last year, just preparing for those kind of guys between, McGregor, Ferguson, Khabib. And, we'll be ready whenever that time comes.
Now, speaking of Khabib and Ferguson, they're fighting next week on UFC 223. It feels like I'm the only one giving Ferguson a legit chance with all my peers. Do you give Ferguson a chance, or do you think Khabib kind of steamrolls him?
Man. Ferguson's like the guy that everyone loves to count out, and then you see him just pull some shit out of his ass, I don't think you can count him out because they're perfectly opposing forces, and that Khabib's going to be, predominantly top heavy. Ferguson's going to play the bottom game, and they're both playing to each other's strengths, so it's who has the stronger ace. And so, it'll be fun to play out, but again, two dudes with huge vulnerabilities.
Right. Yeah. Right.
The other half. So yeah.
So do you see holes in Khabib's game? Everybody seems to be intimidated of him. You're a strong wrestler. You have a wrestling background. How do you feel?
I feel all the holes are the places in his chin and cheeks and face that he gets punched in.
Right.
On repeatedly on his cards. He just hasn't gotten the right punch yet. I think he's got plenty of holes.
Would you?
I admire that dude too. I admire all those guys.
Right.
That's the difference between me and I think everybody else is. I'll be the first to admit, I admire all those fucking dudes. I think they're incredible. They inspire me. That's why they're why I do what in part, why I want to do what I do.
Well, it's funny you say that.
And it's like it's a dream to slay them all.
Right. I watched an interview.
That's what I'm gonna do.
I watched an interview of you in 2012, and you said your favorite fighters were GSP and Jose Aldo. Times have changed since 2012, of course. Who are some of your current UFC fighters that are your favorites? Any division?
I look up to. I looked up to quite a few over the years, and honestly, I almost feel comfortable naming them off now.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. Like, are you still able to be a fan?
Most of the heads of each weight class, you have to respect for what they do, how they done, and their style of doing it. And so, I've got a lot of respect for anybody, in the organization, anyone doing it. But the people I really look up to, there's a number of them. And I'm not going to go through announcing.
Right, but
half of them, they go from role models to your peers to your opponents, and so you respect at the end of the day. But like anything else, you just keep conquering the odds, keep climbing.
So you still are able to be a fan.
Yeah, for now. So at least, I'm fans of plenty of fighters, and the ones that I have to fight, that we just put that aside.
Now, what's neat about your division is you're in Conor McGregor's division. It's the most drama filled. It's the most exciting. I think it's the deepest. You have a lot of upcoming fights within the division. You're looking at Ferguson and Khabib, which we touched on. Barbosa versus Kevin Lee, Fiesta versus Pettis, Poirier versus Gaethje, Felder versus Alaquenta. Like, there's going to be a lot of movement within the division. I know you said you didn't plan on really fighting until the summer. Are you in fighting shape in the event that one of these guys go out with an injury or are unable to fight?
Yeah, no, I'm always in fighting shape.
I know.
I'm always training. I'm always staying in shape and always managing weight. So I'm good. I've been rehabbing my left hand from the knockout. I had a small injury to it, and so I'm spending the last week, maybe probably another week on just taking care of it and just little nicks here and there. But after that, be able to make full contact with it again and be good to go. But the cardio has been maintaining and diet. So yeah.
Any communication with who the next opponent could be?
No, it seems like the communication I've had with my manager, and then he's my middleman for Shelby. It sounds like he's waiting for these next couple of weeks to play out,
right?
Because there are so many guys fighting and lined up. And I think after these next 2 weeks, they'll pick a winner out of that pool.
Right. So you're one name that's been getting tossed around that I've noticed is James Vick. He just recently fought in I believe February on the Austin card. Is that someone? He's ranked number 10 actually. So he's ranked number 10. Is that somebody that you're looking forward to fighting, if possible?
I could care less. It's not someone I'm looking forward to fighting. It's not someone I'm not. It's just another dude.
Right.
Yeah, no, I don't care. Big, any of them. It really does not matter. So I'm just waiting on Shelby to hopefully send me this goddamn bonus check already.
Yeah.
And
right.
I pick the next opponent and schedule what we have to schedule.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that in your little intro. You got performance of the night. Got a big bonus. I know you kind of joked around with Bitcoin. Is there anything specific that you want to do with your bonus check?
No, man. I like I said, I had a good bit of success in my other business too, and I've made a decent bit of coin, at least for my age and everything. And so I already have money in the savings bank, and I'm just going to continue to invest in myself. Invest for an investment there, and so I'll be saving it and then just investing it for what I need it as far as my fight camps, travel arrangements. Hopefully we'll have to pull from it less and less, but just accruing it.
Hey, I seen on your Instagram. On your Instagram, you're recently training with TJ Dillashaw out in California. How was that?
Dude, that was phenomenal. That was super cool experience. Those guys are awesome. Got to spend some time at the training lab. That's the gym TJ's building up, and a little bit of time at Black House. And both were super hospitable, awesome groups of dudes every time. Especially getting to work with Dillashaw, that was cool. It's like $1,000 seminar every time he stepped into the gym for practice.
Right.
It was pretty fucking awesome. Yeah, it was cool.
Okay, so I'm going to step away from the MMA. Again, you're from San Antonio. We want to touch up on a couple things from San Antonio. You are a Spur fan, correct?
Yeah, I am. But let's not go any further than that, dude. I'm like probably the worst Spurs fan of all time. I just don't keep up with sports, man. I don't keep up with much. I barely even kept up with the UFC, minus a few set individuals who I just watch. But yeah, I'm a pathetic Spurs fan.
But hey, you're still repping them. I'm
still repping them. No, there's a Robinson jersey somewhere in that closet.
Right. That's all that matters here. Couple quick things when it comes to San Antonio. Fiesta is right around the corner. Are you gonna have to book it to California so you don't get tempted with some of these Fiesta foods?
Man, I do enjoy me a little Fiesta. I don't know. I actually am planning on going to California again, probably the beginning of May. So I might just by chance miss Fiesta, but no intentions for lack of boots.
What's your favorite Fiesta food?
I don't know, dude. I've only gone down to that Fiesta once years ago. It was a nasty clusterfuck for the most part by the time I was over there. And so I generally go, it's like these little parties, your companies will put on, or just,
right.
Within the industry and things like that. So generally I just kind of go to those, do some of the restaurant things, and that's a good time. But I try to avoid downtown at most cost.
Right.
Sometimes it's just depending on the hour.
Right. So one thing, I was looking at your Instagram, and of course you've been to Vegas. I know that you said you celebrated in Vegas after your fight. You've been to Vegas before the fight. Again, looking at your Instagram, you've been to Miami. My buddy's about to have a bachelor party. I've been pro Vegas. He's been pro Miami. If you had to plan a bachelor party, since you've been to both.
Man, damn, that is a good ass question. It depends. It really depends the climate you're going for,
Right.
Miami, if you know the right places. I went to Miami twice to visit one of my buds, and sorry, I'm gagging some water.
Oh, you're okay, bud.
Yeah, I'm making it. The first time he was just getting settled there for a new job, and so he didn't have any lay of the land at all, and it was just the worst time of all I've ever. I went there for New Year's, and the place we went, we spent like $1,000 each the first night there, New Year's, and neither one of us were equipped for that. My bank account was just pissed.
Right.
Months to follow. And, it was just the most ostentatious trip ever, and we just did stupid things for too much money and didn't have any fun. like 8 months later, went back there and he had to lay the land. Cool, like our district, right next to Brick Hall. I think it's Winwood or.
Right, yeah. Winwood,
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. But a real cool, all that surrounding area, and then just a better lay for the beaches. And dude, it was an amazing time.
It's funny you mentioned Winwood. Winwood. I actually booked an Airbnb today in that area, so I am excited.
That was a prime move.
Right, yeah. It's
well done.
The view looked amazing. It looked pretty legit. But if you had to pick, Vegas or Miami?
Yeah, Vegas, if you feel like kind of just suit balling more, maybe, and throwing some money around, and I don't know, maybe in a strippy or two. But Miami, I think you could have a better balanced time as far as chill scenes as well as like a real hard raging nightlife if you wanted to.
Well,
I would personally go to Miami right now because I guess I went to Vegas more recently, and I've been to Miami in a while, and I miss it now.
Oh yeah, we're going to Miami on Cinco de Mayo weekend, so Miami ended up winning, so that's good news.
I'm glad to hear it.
Now you have been traveling quite a bit, and according to another interview that I listened to, you listened to a couple podcasts. What other podcasts do you listen to?
I listen to I just started listening to podcasts after I quit my job. I guess I was kind of out the door, but I was officially out the door by the beginning of this year. And sorry, dude, I'm fucking dying over here. I have this water gallon filter on my side, and it's clean out.
Oh yeah.
So I've just been struggling, but yeah, I'm on like this little gym by my gym. Where were we? Where did we leave off here?
Oh, on the podcast. I'm sorry.
Oh, the podcast. Yeah, so I started listening to podcasts shortly after quitting. I just got completely inundated, and I still do. I just watch like embeddeds and UFCs, oldies, classics, and then listen to, for the most part, Joe Rogan podcast, and then just sometimes like just mostly guests off his podcast. And,
right.
I'll like play a snippet like Ben Greenfield and some really bright guys like that. Matt Stimmons.
Some of our influences, of course, Joe Rogan, but you got the Fighter and the Kid, you got the Big Brown Breakdown, which is now Below the Belt. Those are some good ones if you're definitely traveling quite a bit. Of course, the best one that I came across is one local one from San Antonio, Texas. It's on Wax the Podcast. You got to get on that, all right?
Oh, no, I'm on it now. I'm all about on the wax. I'm on it now.
Well, one thing I wanted to end off on is it looks like there's a new Mystic Mac, and that is Alexander the Great Hernandez. In 2012, you predicted that you were going to be in the UFC. Recently, you predicted that you were going to knock this guy out in the first round. You pulled that off. Any more predictions going into the year?
Man, it's just onward and upward, man. I'm just constantly growing. I'll be able to give a lay of land of predictions once I hear back from Shelby on this fight. If we can get some dates and some opponents, and then we can start proceeding with the predictions. But I'm just steadily taking over.
Awesome.
We're off to a great start, man.
Right. No, I mean, seriously, I know that it's been said, and I know you have to be thinking the same thing, but it couldn't have went better for you. Like the call, I know you had a fight at Cowboys, and everybody knows where Cowboys is. All of the listeners are majority out of San Antonio. Yeah. You have a fight coming out in Cowboys. You get the call from the UFC. You cancel the Cowboys show. You go fight at T-Mobile Arena. You knock the guy out in 42 seconds. Again, you get the performance of the night. You get the bonus. Now you're looking into the next opponent, top 10. It couldn't have went better for you.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It really is crazy. But, yeah, it's so serendipitous too how it all kind of played out just in the last, just years, just all the years of my life to right there, how it all formulated was a pretty beautiful thing to look back on. And, man, it's just really cool to have. Like I said, I love talking with you, from San Antonio and everything. It's great, just like being able to put the whole city on, put everyone on, dude. Like I said, in the interviews and things, it's this is bigger than me, and I want it to be big. I want to represent something more, and I want to do it, again, for anyone who has a likeness or anything of mine who's ever invested or I've put any energy into, they put any energy in me, whether it just be giving me a like on something. I want to represent something for them. So this is huge, and man, my whole camp, everyone's thrilled, and it's cool to have another person in San Antonio is pumped up about it also, man. So I appreciate you.
Of course, man. Like I said, I know that it's that just 1 week in advance, taking the UFC fight in 1 week advance wasn't ideal. And you said in one of the other interviews that you were, really wanting to know who you're going to fight in advance so you can actually hype the fight up, pump the fight up, build it up. And I'm here to tell you, man, we're following you every move. And whenever your fight gets announced, we're going to hype it up. We're going to build it up. I got money in the first round on it. Guarantee. Alexander the Great, I appreciate you being on. Where can we find you on social media? You're new to Twitter, right?
Yes, I am. Yes, Twitter. Yeah. Probably seen that too.
Right.
The Great 155.
The Great 155, and that's on Instagram, correct?
Yes, sir. And you can tune in to some of my trainings and stuff with Try to Strength and Conditioning and Ohana Academy.
All right, man. Well, hey, keep putting on for San Antonio. You got my attention. Hopefully, going forward that, your fan base in San Antonio will continue to grow. We're supporting you. We're behind you. Appreciate it. Subscribe to On Wax, the podcast. We're going to be looking out for you. All right, bud?
Perfect. Appreciate you, brother.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too.